The University of the West Indies Sport and Physical Education Center, St. Augustine Campus, would like you to pay attention to the following announcement provided for your safety. All exits are clearly marked. Please identify those closest to you. In the event of a fire, if the fire alarm sounds, ushers will direct you to the large exit doors to the north or to the south. Remain calm and follow their instructions. In the event of an earthquake, remain calm. Do not run or panic. Stay where you are. Most injuries happen when people are entering or leaving buildings. While an earthquake can be frightening, the actual ground movement is rarely dangerous. Following an earthquake, there may be aftershocks. Take the same precautions for these. You may then be instructed to leave the building. Please do so in an orderly fashion, as directed by the ushers, through the large exit doors to the north or to the south. Remain calm and follow their instructions. Once you are outside the building, please proceed to the emergency assembly points located at the car park east of the outdoor courts, the rugby field southwest of this building. Move in an orderly fashion to these locations. This is an emergency procedure note from the University of the West Indies Sport and Physical Education Center, St. Augustine campus.
Please stand for the arrival of the Chancellor's procession.
Ladies and gentlemen, the national anthem of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago.
Good afternoon. Please be seated. Vice Chancellor, Professor Hilary Beckles, Chair of the St. Augustus Campus Council, Mr. Robert Riley, Pro-Vice Chancellor and Campus Principal, Professor Rosemary Bell Antoine, Honorary Graduate Dr. Niranjan Kissoon, other distinguished members of the Platform Party, Valedictorian, Ayanah Mohamed, faculty and staff of the UWI St. Augustine campus, specially invited guests, family, friends, well-wishers, members of the media, class of 2025, good afternoon. Good afternoon, graduates, and good afternoon to your families, your lecturers, your mentors, and all who have made this journey with you. Today, we gather not merely to mark the end of an academic chapter, but to celebrate the beginning of a new Caribbean story, one that you, the graduates of 2025, are uniquely positioned to assist in crafting. You did not arrive here by accident. You arrived through sacrifice, through resilience, through nights of study and days of doubt, through balancing, in some cases, work and school, family and ambition, hardship and hope. You arrived through hurricanes, both literal and metaphorical. You arrived through the pandemic's lingering shadows, through economic uncertainty, through the quiet battles that no one saw, but you endured nonetheless. Class of 2025, you have not only completed your course of study, you've also grown intellectually, emotionally, socially. You represent the best of our region. And your growth does not stop here. Your journey continues, not just academically, but as leaders in your communities and as guardians of our shared future. You are graduating into a global environment increasingly shaped by national self-interest, where the idea of a shared responsibility for the prosperity of mankind is fading, where the preservation of our way of life for all is no longer guaranteed, where climate change, inequality, and conflict threaten the very fabric of our collective future. And yet, here you are, standing tall, ready. As graduates of the University of the West Indies, you stand on a solid foundation. You have been equipped with knowledge, perspective, and the ability to think critically. In addition, you have inherited the legacy of decades of Caribbean leadership in many important global areas. In climate justice, where small island states have led the global call for action and accountability, where from Barbados to Bahamas, our leaders are demanding climate justice, not just for ourselves, but for vulnerable nations everywhere. In social equity, where Caribbean thinkers, artists, and activists continue to challenge inequality, colonial legacies, and systemic bias, where our voices shape the conversation on reparation, demanding equity and human dignity. In sports, where our athletes have shown the world that excellence knows no borders and what heart and discipline can achieve, where for decades, our cricketers dominated world pitches with their skills and professionalism. And yet, this level of leadership and more are required now. In this still evolving new environment, you are not just graduates, you are builders, you are architects, you are the designers of a Caribbean that refuses to be defined by size, by limitation, or by the outdated assumptions of others. You are part of the generation that must reset the agenda. You must chart a path to a more enlightened future, one that values cooperation over competition, one that sees diversity not as a challenge but as a strength, one that understands that the Caribbean voice is not a whisper, it is a force. In this emerging environment, you are not just graduates, you are the architects of Caribbean possibility. Class of 2025, you are the generation that understands that knowledge knows no borders, that technology is a great equalizer, that size is no longer an insurmountable limiting factor, that a small island can produce world-class innovation, that a village in Antigua, a district in Jamaica, a parish in Barbados, a town in Trinidad can be the birthplace of global solutions. You are the generation that knows that excellence is not imported. It is cultivated, it is homegrown, it is Caribbean. And so today I invite you to see yourselves not just as graduates of a university or university, but as stewards of our region, as custodians of a rich legacy, as the ones who will shape the economies, the institutions, and the values of a Caribbean that is ready to rise. Let us be clear. The Caribbean has long been underestimated. We have been told we are too small to matter, too fragmented to lead, too dependent to thrive. But you know better. You know that our size is not our weakness, it is our strength. It allows us to be agile, to be bold, to be united in purpose. You know that our diversity is not a barrier, it is a treasure. It gives us perspective, creativity, and resilience. You know that our history is not a weight, it is a foundation. It reminds us of what we have overcome and what we are capable of. So let us respond by being an example that others can scarce ignore. Let us build systems that work. Let us foster cultures of integrity, innovation, and inclusion. Let us show the world what Caribbean excellence truly looks like. And even then, the future will not be given to us. It must be claimed. So class of 2025, Go claim it. Claim it with your ideas, with your startups, with your research, with your art, with your activism, with your leadership in boardrooms, in classrooms, in parliaments, and in communities. Claim it by refusing to accept mediocrity, by demanding transparency, by building institutions that serve the people, not just the powerful. Claim it by embracing technology, not as a tool of consumption, but as a platform for creation. Use it to solve problems, to connect markets, to educate minds, to amplify Caribbean voices across the globe. Claim it by investing in knowledge, not just degrees, but wisdom, not just credentials, but character. Claim it by remembering that the Caribbean is not only a place, it is a promise of warmth, of brilliance, of possibility. Class of 2025, you are the guardians of that promise. You are the ones with the knowledge, creativity, and understanding to make a difference. The ones who can take our economies from extraction to innovation, from vulnerability to resilience, from imitation to leadership. You are the ones who can show that our region is not peripheral, but pivotal. You are the ones who can remind the world that when the Caribbean dreams, it dreams in color, in rhythm, in brilliance, in courage. And so as you step forward today, I ask you to carry three things with you. First, carry your story. Never forget where you came from, whether you grew up in a fishing village or a bustling city. Whether you were raised by one parent or many, whether you face hardship or privilege, your story matters. It is your compass, it is your power. Second, carry your responsibility. You are not just individuals, you're part of a collective, a Caribbean collective, that needs your voice, your vision, your integrity. So lead with humility, serve with purpose, build with others. And third, carry your hope. The world will test you. It will challenge your ideals. It will tempt you to settle. But do not lose your hope. It is your fuel. It is your fire. It is the light that will guide you when the path is unclear. Graduates of 2025, you're ready. You're ready to build economies that are inclusive, sustainable, and bold. You're ready to challenge the status quo. You're ready to lead not just with intellect, but with heart. So I urge you, go forward, go proudly, go purposefully. And above all, never forget you're UWI, you're Caribbean, you're unstoppable. Class of 2025, the future is yours to shape. Congratulations. We're met today in order that we may mark by a formal ceremony the entry of certain of our members into the company of graduates and the academic achievement of others. As a university, we're an academic society of undergraduates, bachelors, masters, and doctors, and we follow the academic tradition in the pursuit of knowledge and the encouragement of learning, purposes which are laid down in the preamble to the Royal Charter, by which we have been granted the powers needful for the prosecution of our affairs. In pursuing these aims, our members advance from time to time to a higher standing in the academic community, and it is proper, as a body, we should celebrate their achievement. It is marked by the granting of a degree, or diploma, or license, or certificate, and we rejoice with our graduates on their achievement. Congratulations again, class of 2025. Thank you.
Chancellor. I now ask the public orator, Dr. Susan Burke, to present Professor Niranjan Kissoon, whom the Senate and the Council of the University have been pleased to recommend for the award of the degree of Doctor of Science, Honoris Causa.
Chancellor, reflecting on the life and work of Professor Niranjan Tex Kissoon, I am immediately inspired by the sacred and profound nature of his mission to care for the most vulnerable in society. His focus on the most critically ill, especially children, captures the essence of St. Jude, the patron saint of desperate causes and sick children. Because much like St. Jude, Professor Kissoon has worked at the intersection of hope and despair to bring relief to the gravely ill. Indeed, as Psalm 128, verse 3 reminds us, his work nurtures children who will be like olive shoots around our tables, underscoring their inherent role in bringing joy and continuity to the family unit, and by extension, securing our collective legacies for the future. But much like olive shoots, Professor Kissoon's career reminds us that children require preparation, protection, nourishment, and love to grow and bear good fruit. Born into humble beginnings in the town of Canupia, his parents emphasized the value of education, not only as a path to economic independence, but also as a means to gain respect in a society where the poor and the vulnerable were often marginalized and belittled. Kissoon's home was an active site of teaching and learning, with parents who fed his innate curiosity with all the nutrients at their disposal. Indeed, before being allowed to sleep at night, the young Kissoon was made to write on a homemade blackboard until he had used up an entire stick of chalk. These practices helped to shape his approach to study and resulted in outstanding performances at both primary and secondary school. He continued his trajectory of exceptionalism at the UWI St. Augustine and Mona, where he aced his studies in science and medicine, respectively, embodying his father's mantra, "When land is gone and money is spent, your education is excellent." Even with all this success, his feet remained firmly planted on the ground, rooted in the modesty that was an integral part of his upbringing. Indeed, his father's rejoinder, "So, what's the big deal?" every time he hit a major career milestone, laid the foundation for the humble persona he embodies today. Chancellor, his early professional exposure to the vulnerability of children to infections while working in emergency and critical care in Canadian hospitals informed the course of his career. The idea that children in poverty-stricken areas all over the world die from preventable diseases such as malaria, typhoid, and dengue strengthened his resolve to speak for those who could not speak for themselves. Later, his experiences in countries such as Kenya, South Africa, and Uganda highlighted the calamitous effects of poverty on a mother's ability to seek timely and effective health care for her sick children. Not content to remain on the sidelines, Kissoon became a tireless advocate for the prevention of sepsis in children, a condition that kills approximately 3.4 million of them every year. Chancellor, his battle against sepsis has been unrelenting. He is a founding member of the Global Sepsis Alliance, a non-profit charity aimed at providing leadership in reducing the burden of sepsis, which claims approximately 11 million lives annually. As its current president, Professor Kissoon is the global face for this cause and speaks all over the world to sensitize people about the danger of sepsis while working along policymakers and governments to increase the resources to mitigate its effects. He was also instrumental in spearheading the establishment of World Sepsis Day and sits on the steering committee to organize its annual observation on September the 13th each year. As if his work in the areas of critical care and pediatrics is not impressive enough, Professor Kissoon is also a prolific scholar and practitioner. He has authored over 600 journal articles, written over 90 book chapters, and delivered over 200 lectures over the course of his distinguished career. He has won numerous accolades and awards and received the Presidential Citation Award from the Society of Critical Care Medicine a total of 8 times. In 2012, he received the Distinguished Career Achievement Award from the American Academy of Pediatrics. Chancellor, through research, teaching, and activism, Professor Kissoon has championed systems that privilege the development of at-risk children. His voice has echoed from state houses to chattel houses all over the world with a consistent message that shapes health protocols, inspires practitioners, and saves the lives of countless children. Chancellor, for his unwavering advocacy for health equity, his dedication to critical and emergency medicine, his transformative impact on global health systems, and his recognition that children, like olive shoots around our collective tables, are our sacred heritage. I present Professor Niranjan Tex Kissoon and ask that by the authority vested in you by the Council and Senate of the University of the West Indies, you confer on him the degree of Doctor of Medicine, Honoris Causa.
Professor Kissoon, for the authority vested in me by the Senate and the Council of the University, I now confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Science, Honoris Causa. Congratulations. I now invite Dr. Kissoon to address the company.
Thank you very much, Chancellor, Dr. the Most Honorable Dr. Miller, Vice Chancellor, Professor Sir Honourary Beckles, Chair, St. Augustine Campus Council, Mr. Robert Riley, Pro-Vice Chancellor and Campus Principal, Professor Rosemary Bell-Antwine, other distinguished members of the platform party, valedictorian, Ms. Ayanah Mohamed, graduating class of 2025, ladies and gentlemen. If you had told me a barefoot boy running through the rice and cane fields of Cunupia that one day he would stand here receiving an honorary doctorate from this prestigious university, he might have laughed and thought that you were out of touch with reality. Yet here I stand, filled with awe, humility, and deep gratitude for this extraordinary honor from my alma mater, the University of the West Indies. Over the years, I have received many awards from many countries and institutions, but this one holds a special, deep, personal place in my heart. I will cherish it above all others. Thank you, Dr. Susan Burke, for your generous introduction, far kinder than I deserve. The truth is that I have received far more throughout my career than I give. I owe immense gratitude to my friends, colleagues, my patients, and their families who were my teachers. my support and source of joy, even in the face of seemingly insurmountable odds. Standing here today feels like the pinnacle of a journey that began with humble beginnings and few academic role models. My path was shaped by love, especially from my family, and made possible by the student loan program of the government of Trinidad and Tobago. That support and that village carried me. I share my story with you not because it is unique, but on the contrary, to illustrate that life's journey is a mix of challenges, hardships, and glorious opportunities. It's how you respond to adversity and forks in the road that reveals true character and values. But enough about me. Today rightly belongs to those of you who completed your degree in 2025. Congratulations. You have achieved something remarkable, and the world awaits your contributions to improving lives. You must keep learning, keep growing, and always strive to lead authentic, meaningful lives. I wish you success and a life of purpose. But to achieve such a life, you must always remember that serving our patients and families should trump all else in your professional lives. As someone who has walked the path that you now begin, I would like to offer a few reflections, lessons really taught in medical school, but essential to a life of fulfillment and meaning in medicine. Medicine is neither an art nor a science as it has been portrayed, but a practice grounded on some scientific evidence, but relies heavily on clinical judgment. It is a profession steeped in uncertainty, diagnostic uncertainty, uncertainty in the response to treatment, and uncertainty in prognosis and outcomes. And in a world that craves certainty, this can be disconcerting. But uncertainty is not a failure. It is a fundamental part of the human condition. As Sir William Osler, father of modern medicine, observed, a distressing feature in the life you're about to embark upon is the uncertainty which pertains not alone to our art and science, but to the very hopes and fears that make us men, and I added with emphasis, women. In seeking out the absolute truth, we aim for the unattainable and must be content with finding broken portions. So how do we navigate this uncertainty? I dare say with humility, with curiosity, and with compassion. We must remain curious, open to possibilities, to continuous learning, and question our preconceived notions. Listen to your patients. Today's technology, especially artificial intelligence, promises precision and speed, but nothing will ever replace the value of listening deeply to your patients and their families. That connection, that trust, will always be at the heart of healing. Along your journey, you will face many competing demands. The lure of wealth, the intoxication of success, the numbing bureaucracy of institutions, and the relentless demands on your time. These pressures can wear you down, make you jaded, and erode your empathy. Please don't let them. Put patients and family first, and you will always be on the right side of history. Do this, and you will live a life and not only of professional success, but of deep human significance. Remember the words that were attributed to both Sir William Osler and Edward Livingston Trudeau: to cure sometimes, to relieve often, but to comfort always. Beyond your professional duties, remember you did not get here alone. Parents, friends, teachers, mentors, community members lifted you up and believed in you and made sacrifices so you could walk this stage today. To all those people, not always named or celebrated, I offer my deepest respect. Today is their day too. As you step into this noble profession, remember your responsibility to the world beyond your clinic or hospital. You are now part of a privileged group, and with that comes an obligation to give back in many ways, whether through service in your country, support for your Caribbean community, or contributions to global health. your knowledge and skills are needed. And never forget your alma mater. The University of the West Indies have given you a foundation. Answer its call whenever it comes. On a personal note, as I close, let me share the best decision I ever made in choosing my life partner, my wife Janice, who sits here. Without her love, strength, and unwavering support, I would not be standing here today. This honor belongs as much to her as it belongs to me, and to our two wonderful daughters who may be just as surprised and even perplexed by my success as anyone. Thank you for always making me proud. To all my friends and family here today, thank you. To my teachers who saw possibilities in me I could not envision, thank you. To my colleagues, friends, mentors, patients across the world, thank you. To my alma mater, thank you very much for this profound honor. I accept it with humility, and I will continue striving to make you proud. And finally, to the class of 2025, may your lives be guided by humility, led by service, and anchored in compassion. Thank you.
We will now have a performance by Dion and Ian Baptiste, both graduates in dance from the Department of Creative and Festival Arts at the University of the West Indies, and are nationally known dancers and choreographers. This afternoon, they perform the dance piece Exodus.
There's a light in the darkness, though the night is black as my skin. There's a light burning bright, showing me the way. But I know where I've been. There's a cry in the distance. It's a voice that comes from deep within. There's a cry asking why. I pray the answer's up ahead. Yeah, 'cause I know where I've been. There's a road we've been traveling, lost so many on the way, but the riches will be plenty. Worth the price we had to pay. There's a dream in the future. There's a struggle that we have yet to win. And there's pride in my heart, 'cause I know where I'm going. Yes, I do. And I know where I've been. Yeah. There's a road we must travel. We must
Sir, the persons whose names will be called are studied in the University of the West Indies, and having fulfilled the requirements of the University of the West Indies, beg leave to be presented to you and to the Senate of the University by the representative of the Faculty of Medical Sciences as Bachelor of Medicine, Bachelor of Surgery, or Bachelors of Science, Diagnostic Imaging, or Midwifery, or Nursing, or Optometry, or Pharmacy, or Pharmacology, or Physical Therapy, or Doctor of Dental Surgery, or Veterinary Medicine of the University of the West Indies. Sir, the Dean, Faculty of Medical Sciences, Professor Hariharan Sitarama.
Sir, my colleagues and I ask you to receive as graduate members of our society these persons present who, having fulfilled the requirements of the university, have been admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Medicine and Bachelor of Surgery or Bachelors of Science, Diagnostic Imaging, or Midwifery, or Nursing, or Optometry, or Pharmacy, or Pharmacology, or Physical Therapy, or Doctor of Dental Surgery, or Veterinary Medicine of this university.
By the authority vested in me, I receive these persons whose names are about to be called as graduate members of our society and confer first degrees of this university.
Doctor of Dental Surgery, Candace Atkinson. Chris Behari. Talia Britton. Sabrina David. Shian Edu. Samantha Fletcher. Navita Jagannath. Priya Jagru. Sadia Jahur. Arun Kaulisar with honors. Sir with honors, Chelsea Maharaj. Victoria Medford. Sanjeev Morgan. Daniel Noel. William Outridge. With honors, Anaya Poltio. Ravina Ragbir Singh. Sir, with honors, Matthew Raghubar. Vishala Raghu. Sir, with honors, Aaron Rajkumar. Vandana Ramcharan. Aryan Rampasad. Alyssa Mary Ramtahal. Alyssa Sankar. Priya Sitaram, Jessica Shinarayan, Prashanta Singh, Sir with Honours Celeste Steele, Sir with Honours Kelsey Sudan, Anushka Sampath, Jabari Seeley, Branwell Venture, Centauri Budu Singh, Atia Abdul, Mikhail Mohamed, Doctor of Veterinary Medicine, Yola Bennett, Amrit Bagalu, Jeja Cyrus, Amoret Freights, Sir with Honours Charlene Hamlin McSween, with Honours Andre Jitan Ghazi, Jamali John, Akshay Kandu, Leah Lachman Singh, Sir with Honours Kashmir Lala, Kateri Mir, Sir with Honours Rosalia Mohan, Charlize Nichols, Josh Rahim, Aaron Ramdev, Celine Ramdan, Lisa Rampasad, Shruti Rampasad Maharaj, Amrika Shankar, Tulya Sibaran Singh, Sir with Honours Robin Sukram, Regina Rajkumar, Bachelor of Medicine and Bachelor of Surgery, Leah Agostini, Amara Ali, Rashid Ali, Kobe Aline, Wendy Ann Antoine, Tanuja Armade, Brittany Bechan, Sir with Honours Navita Balkisun,
Ariana Batiste, Atia Barker, Sir with Honours Miguel Basdev, Joshua Bellamy, Arun Bisoon, Diana Bisoon, Kyle Bisoon, Dexter Blackman, Sir with Honours Anderson Budrom, Maria Brathwaite, Ashna Bachun, Sanjeev Budram, Ariana Budri, Lauren Campbell, Renelle Carmona, Sir with distinction Graham Carvalho, Kirsten Charles, Sir with Honours Tiffany Chatu, Adriel Chotu, Stephen Choi, Sir with Honours Angelina Christopher, Sweta Clark, Ryan Cooper, Sir with distinction Pavana Dalsu, Nikau Davis, Karina Devnarayan, Chloe Duku, Justin Durpat, Sir with Honours Alexei Dobson, Shanice Doyle, Avion Drayton, Stephanie Ellis, Sir with Honours Mariam Imamdi, with Honours Siddika Imamdi, Akila Eversley, Sherelle Fouché, Jamila Francis, Sir with Honours William Furlong, Jiliana Faizuddin, Anushka Gajadar, Jonathan Gandalal, Radha Gatu, Zeda Gopi, Sir with Honours Renise Gold, Sir, with distinction, Anik Gray. Chelsea Hari Prasad. Jamil Hiralal. Samir Hussaini. Sir, with honors, Leah Hussain. With honors, Misty Hindman. Nigel Isaac. Sir, with honors, Precious Jack. Tiffany Jagannath. Valishti Jaikaran. Celine James. Sir, with honors, Karina Jibot Singh. Carice Jeremy. Chanel Johnson. Chantal Joseph. Kai Joseph. Sir, with honors, Mikhail Kanai. Dion Lamont. Vashti Lachman. Valini Lakshmi Prasad. Resha Logan. Chimera Mahabir. Amanda Marchand. Adriana Martin. Daniela Martineau. Emmanuel Medina. Antonor Mohamed. Sir, with honors, Chelsea Mohamed. Anushka Mohan. Sir, with honors, Nishta Mohan. Ricardo Monsigue. Nikila Naiwal. Shinma Okeke. Jalisa Patrick. Kion Prasad. Nicholas Peterson. Aliyah Phillips. Jenny Pontius. Sir, with honors, Patish Ragbir. Alisa Ramkumar Singh. Samantha Ramjohn. Sir, with honors, Brittany Ramkissoon. Alia Ramlagan. Adeline Ramnath. So with honors, Bridget Ramnath. Erin Rampasad. Kavita Rampasad. Nicholas Ramsaroop. So with honors, Celine Ramsingh. So with honors, Anastasia Ramsuk. With honors, Daniel Reveran. Ariana Roberts. So with honors, Chelsea Samaru. With honors, Vandana Samlal. Sabrina Samuj. So with honors, Kareen Sampson. Anamika Cordner. With honors, Amira Khan. Celine Gilbert. Cherise Elliott. Falad Roberts. Richard Dabidine. Ayoka Barak. Tristine Mohamed. Joseph Dassin. Michaela Marbella. Maria Solazano. Sade Pierre. Emma John. So with honors, Alima Mohammed. Cherise John. With honors, Dominic Aliong. With honors, Shoaib Khan. Jia Humphrey. Samantha John. With honors, Darian Constantine. With honors, Marie Claire Barkant. Reynard Lal. Marie Ragbar. Shandev Indoy. Amber Ramutar Maraj. Shelley Reed. With honors, Amaris Bujawan. Diva Ramlochan. With honors, Kamira McClashy. With distinction, Adele Melville. With honors, Rihanna Mohamed. With honors, Kishan Hariprasad. Nirvana Joseph. Tiana Kanai. Anna Lee Caragan. Jessica Kissoon. With honors, Megan Williams. Andre Ella Medford. With honors, Ayanah Mohamed. Onella Pascal. Emily Sudu. So with honors, Demi Dufial. Patricia Stowe. Sharifa Bakers. Anton Phillips. Melanie Babulal. Karina Matabadal. So with honors, Mikhail Jute. With honors, Rachel Hariprasad. Adel Vidal. Rajiv Singh. Dana Ward. Jordan Prasad. So with honors, Ashiana Ali. Nieja Lewis. Leanne Alexander. So with honors, Joshua Prasad. Amar Jaikaran. Shania Sampson. Avika Ramdan. Yashoda Ramsubag. Andal Acevero. So with honors, Vanessa Bob. Samantha Jogi. Tamara Sigobin. Christine Siratan. Mikhail Sinanan. So with honors, Caitlin Singh. Shurice Snell. Shivana Suknanan. Shail Suku. Cassie Thomas. Abedi Trim. Jaquilia Trim. Bachelor of Science in Midwifery, Jeranik Harrigan. Shemaker John Augustine. Kimberly Martin. Rochelle Kwashi. Lindsay Solomon. Stephian Sandy. Bachelor of Science in Nursing, Donna Afonso Adams. Ariane Agarat. Pooja Bechan. Priya Bechan. Brandon Bagwandin. Ryan Chin. Marisa Das. Danica Dauphin. Adrian Dolly. Rakina Elder. Osag Bokan Erharui. Sapphire Francis. Shakina Grace Gilkis. Nikita Gosain. Rachel Gobera. Celine Gunness. Dion Henry. Alia Hernandez. Mavis Husband. Sena Iqbal. Emily Jagannath. Natalia James. Shafika Jordan. Renique Lambert. Shania Lawrence. Shania Manson. So with first class honors, Jordan Marcus. Kedesher Mitchell. Denicia Ramcharan. Kyle Ramkisoon. Sapphire Samuel. Celine Seals. Melanie Sinanan. Keelan Leigh Solomon. Navita Sonilal. Amrita Suklal, Priya Sukram, Chanel Walcott, Vishal Walters, Joanna Wellington, Odia Williams, Carolyn Fraser, Alicia Anmol Singh, Ferona Roy, Sana Romani, Crystal George, Natalia Lal, Ariana Lead, Kimberly Belfon, Menorca Snags, Valisa Sinclair, Adejumoke Isaacs Kosoko, Leanne Garcia, Brianna Sampson, Carissa Romain, Shannon Samlal, Kermisha Stroud, Narissa Ali, Natasha Berkeley, Bachelor of Science in Optometry, Alia Acevedo, Mark Francois Gopal, Ariane Jagru, Ansari Khan, Tamika Sion, Alyssa Sinanan, Sarah Subani, Hannah Thomas, Bachelor of Science in Pharmacology, Darian Phillips, Bachelor of Science in Pharmacy, Uma Baliraj, Shivani Balroop, Anila Bipat, Katie Bagwandin, Kimberly Budai, Bachelor of Science in Optometry, continuing, Safia Mohan Singh, Daniel Martin, Leanne Amoroso, Bachelor of Science in Pharmacy, Fennel Box, Jerlene Charles, Ashley Daniel Diaz, Samantha David, Abigail Didier, Tikia Dennis, Cherise Dulam Singh, Anika Gulab, Salim Gopal, Kellyanne Harper, Adriana Haripol, Amira Hassan, Leandra John, Kezia Joseph, Geeta Lachman, Ashley Lochan, Rihanna Lucis, Randi Lachman, Giovanna Maraj, Saloni Mangre, Nasa Maraj, Jared Mohamed, Reina Mohamed, Devi Mohan Singh, Nadira Nagesar, Shiv Nagir, Victoria Nanan, Johan Pariyag, Arti Prasad, Shalita Ragbir, Sangeeta Raghunath, Amrika Rajkumar, Geeta Rajkumar, Nirvita Ramcharan, Jessica Ramgulam, Monisha Ramharak, Diana Ramkisoon, Serenity Ramnarayan, Gina Ramnath, Kimberly Ramratan, Darian Ramroop, Chanel Ramsingh, Priya Shankar, Rajiv Sinath, Safia Shah, Shania Singh, So, with first class honors, Zaria Stout Alexander. With first class honors, Matthew Swamber. Ashta Warrian. Nalini Ramsingh. Jaden Seal. Amanda Jetton. Bachelor of Science in Physical Therapy, Jamie Dukaran.
I now call on Miss Ayanah Mohamed, Bachelor of Medicine and Bachelor of Surgery with honors, to deliver the valedictory address.
Chancellor, the Most Honorable Doddridge Miller, Vice Chancellor, Professor Sir Hilary Beckles, Chair, St. Augustine Campus Council, Mr. Robert Riley, Pro Vice Chancellor and Campus Principal, Professor Rosemary Bellantoine, Honorary Graduate, Dr. Niranjan Kissoon, other distinguished members of the Platform Party, faculty and staff of the University of the West Indies St. Augustine Campus, specially invited guests, members of the media, friends, family, well-wishers, and most importantly, the graduating class of 2025, good afternoon. Patience. It is both the virtue that shapes us and the people that we care for. Both are what taught us to listen before we treat, to rise after defeat, and to trust that our dreams will be complete. This moment has been a long time coming. I am Dr. Ayanah Mohamed, and it is my honor to address you today. Before my title, I was simply Ayanah. I come from a close-knit community in the South. I am the last of 3 children, and for as long as I can remember, I have wanted to be a doctor. I wish I could tell you, though, that like Martin Luther King Jr., I had a dream. But that would not be true. What I had were parents who dreamt bigger things for me than I could imagine. My mother wanted me to be passionate about any career that I chose. My father got me a human anatomy doll when I was 14. I think maybe he wanted me to be a doctor. And so that little girl began to dream. Until I was 17, that only meant getting good grades and choosing sciences. And then my grandfathers actually, got diagnosed with cancer. I witnessed firsthand what a battle within the human body looked like and how frightening it was. That year marked an instrumental change for me. Throughout hospital visits, moments before surgeries, and house calls, I saw doctors as an extension of God's mercy instead of just a title that society deemed praiseworthy. At the stage of both of their diagnoses, there was no cure, but there was treatment, whether through supportive care or palliation. But what resonated with me most was their doctors' compassion in the most hopeless times.
whether it was a moment of silence before delivering news that we weren't quite ready to hear, in the simple act of easing the pain, and in the wisdom to know when to put down the scalpel. I knew then that that was what I wanted to do with my life. 5 years ago, I started medical school. Looking back, it was as if I was boarding a ship. I didn't know who my other passengers were, what the seas ahead promised, what my destination truly looked like, or at times if I could even reach it. Some voyagers changed ships, some jumped aboard, others got delayed. But as I look out into a beautiful sea of blue today, I know that we have not just sailed an ocean, but we have arrived at our destination. Whether you were always at the top of your class, having memorized the periodic table overnight, having aced every single test without having to study at all, or if you were the only one awake, working twice as hard to get half as far as your classmates, the path to get here did not look the same for all of us. For every right turn after the wrong one, every bumpy road, every detour, today we celebrate having accomplished what we set out to do. A few years ago, we sat together in year one, when we weren't yet doctors, nurses, vets, pharmacists, ophthalmologists, or even dentists, but rather young minds, full of life and naivety that thought the hardest part was getting into medical school. Little did we know that while the years would be short, the days would be long. Surrounded as we were by brilliance meant that we had to adjust from being the superstars of our high school to just average amongst our peers. But we became each other's patients before we reached the wards, sharing everything from which question bank to use to which form of caffeine gave you energy, but not palpitations. We sat through PEC classes that doubled as our therapy, PBLs where we were the Sherlock Holmes of healthcare, memorized hundreds of lecture slides that tested just how much space we had remaining in our brains, and we made our nervous systems prepare for OSCEs like if we were going into war. At the end of it, though, the biggest lesson that those trials taught us was that we may never reach perfection, but we could believe in an asymptote to which we are ceaselessly striving. We live in two worlds. First one is of exuberance, where we are sons and daughters, philosophers, creators, storytellers, adventurers. It is an enriching one, but our second is unparalleled in its rewards. Populated with stories less eccentric, but lessons just as gratifying as the first. It is the one with our patients. They are the reason that we do what we do and from whom we learn the most. Without them, we would have no research, no trials, no medicine, and no cure. In this moment, let us remember every patient who has been entrusted into our care, whose stories challenged us, whose resilience inspired us, and whose trust humbled us. From the anxious child gripping our hands, to the elderly woman who thanked us for a simple cup of tea, and to the animals that reminded us that empathy needs no language. They are the means through which we have and continue to make a difference, and they taught us what our textbooks could not. Let us also remember our teachers who brought to life the maps that guided us on this path. More than professors, you became our mentors that bridged the gap between dreams and success. Through every lecture, assignment, exam, bedside teaching, even hallway conversation, we learn from you first what it means to serve. And words of thanks somehow feel inadequate in this moment. To the University of the West Indies, campus has been our home for the last few years, and it will be remembered as our launchpad. Thank you for being a place where our dreams found direction. For most, graduation marks the moment where our shared paths divert and personal ones begin, but ours is distinct. Our ships has docked, but there's a whole world yet to be explored, and we will do it together. Whether it be on the wards, in the pharmacy, at the clinic, or even at the vet. Our lives are now intertwined in a tapestry of healers, past, present, and future. It is no easy thing to face sickness and grief daily, but if we have made it here today, We must have been chosen by some greater force to carry out one of life's miracles of healing. We sit together one last time today, no longer nervous year ones. The wind in our sails has brought us this far, and it is only the beginning of an even stronger current. Today, medical sciences is advancing at a pace that once seemed unimaginable. This year, we have discovered T regulatory cells that have catapulted over 200 clinical trials for autoimmune diseases. We get to witness robot-assisted surgeries, stem cell therapies that have promising results of restoring vision, three-dimensional diagnostic imaging for both humans and animals, digitalized healthcare records, and exploration into mRNA technology for treating genetic disorders. And these breakthroughs are remarkable. But the truth is, the future of medical sciences is not just happening out there, it is in this very room. Each of us carry the potential to push boundaries, to innovate, and to heal in ways even greater than what we see today. The next transformative procedure, the next life-saving discovery, the next paradigm shift in healthcare could very well come from one of us. The last few years were not without its trials, but you have been patient, studying, sacrificing, and serving. That patience now becomes power. Today, the world has earned new doctors, nurses, ophthalmologists, dentists, veterinarians, and pharmacists. But you have earned the responsibility to heal, to lead, and to not just save, but change lives. Take a look around you. The future of medical sciences is right here, and it is dazzling. But remember that while today commemorates us, it is a far bigger celebration for the people in and out of these rooms, and even the ones who have passed. You have supported us, raised us, uplifted us when we threatened to fall. To my grandmothers, thank you for showing me that life continues after hardships. To my mom and dad, my brother and my sister, know that I treasure every sacrifice that you make for me. When I dreamt of the stars, you gave me galaxies. Class of 2025, I have 3 wishes and a command for you: grace, strength, passion, and empathy. May you find grace through every challenge that comes your way. May you have the strength under those circumstances. May you remember the passion that led you down this path. And above all, I command you to have empathy in every patient that you treat and every life that you touch. I'll end with some wise words by Austin Richards, also known as Kissoon. You had the dedication. Worked so hard you forgot how to vacation. Now all that's left to say is congratulations. Thank you.
Sir, I now call on Professor Durasamy Saravanakumar, Director, School for Graduate Studies and Research, to present to you members of our society for the award of high degrees and postgraduate diplomas.
So, I present to you these members of our society who, having fulfilled the requirements of this university, have been awarded postgraduate diplomas or have been admitted to master's degrees, and beg that you recognize their advancement in our society.
By the authority vested in me, I confer on these persons whose names are about to be called postgraduate diplomas and master's degrees of this university and recognize their advancement in our society.
So, from the Faculty of Medical Sciences of Mona campus, for postgraduate diploma in loss, grief, and trauma management, I present Chanel Gill Rugged with Merit. So, from the Faculty of Medical Sciences of St. Augustine campus, for postgraduate diploma in emergency medicine, I present Josiah Andrews. Nikolai Nuns. So, for postgraduate diploma in family medicine, I present Keegan Bajnath. Rebecca Jagu. Nalini Maharaj. Priyanka Maharaj. So, for Master of Science in Advanced Nursing with Nursing Leadership and Management Specialization, I present Michelle Maurice Woods. So, for Master of Science in Medical Microbiology, I present Andrew Julian with merit. Kiran Sumai. So, for Master of Public Health, I present Riyad Hussain with distinction. Rachel Oko Kolo. Khadija Alexis. So, with distinction, Adrian Palmer.
Sir, I now call on Professor Audrey Henry Lee, Pro Vice Chancellor, Graduate Studies and Research, and Chair of the Board for Graduate Studies and Research, to present to you members of our society for the award of Doctor of Medicine.
So I present to you these members of our society who, having fulfilled the requirements of this university, have been admitted to the degree of Doctor of Medicine, and beg that you recognize their advancement in our society.
By the authority vested in me, I confer on these persons whose names are about to be called the degree of Doctor of Medicine and recognize their advancement in our society.
Doctor of Medicine in Anesthesia and Intensive Care, Anitra Maharaj. Tami Mohamed. Amanda Sang. Kristen Sidru. Doctor of Medicine in Emergency Medicine, Joanne Mohamed. Joy Kissoon. Doctor of Medicine in Family Medicine, Afia Mohamed. Gina Marie White. Doctor of Medicine in General Internal Medicine, Catherine Grimaldis. Chanel Gunness. Penelope McCallum. Simone Maffei. Doctor of Medicine in General Surgery, Shavani Prasad. Doctor of Medicine in Orthopedics, Shiva Shakan. Doctor of Medicine in Otorhinolaryngology, Marlon Christopher. Doctor of Medicine in Pediatrics, Dexter Carr. Adele Delaby. Nikash KB Singh. Doctor of Medicine in Psychiatry, Sharice Alin.
I now call on the President of the Alumni Association, Trinidad and Tobago Chapter, Mrs. Arlene Hamlin Paul, to lead the graduates in reciting the Alumni Pledge.
Good evening. Good evening. Graduates, please stand. I will now lead you in reciting the Alumni Pledge, which can be found on page 92 of the booklet. Please repeat after me. As a graduate of the University of the West Indies, I commit myself to uphold the ideals and goals of my alma mater. My conduct and voice shall reflect the commitment to excellence of the light rising from the West. As I fulfill my social and professional responsibilities, and serve my community and region. I will strive to further cement the UWI's place as a Caribbean icon, the catalyst for Caribbean development and leadership. It is a legacy that I will proudly help build for future generations. The UWI, first in our hearts and first in our region. Thank you.
I invite everyone to please stand as we join in singing the university song, which can be found on page 92 of the booklet.
From Caribbean islands, Ayanah and Belize, was born our University of the West Indies. Proud symbols of our oneness, our strength and unity. With vision clear, you came along to shape our destiny, to follow after knowledge, the truth to seek and find. Today just love and justice to liberate the mind. Today we see you rising, a light out of the west, that guides the feet of all who seek the noblest and the best. There is a light that is rising from out of the west, and proud bearers of that light are we. So we follow those whose work has brought glory to your name, making a better world for you and for me. Now from your noble portals, your sons and daughters go to face the world of challenges, to conquer every foe. We'll work and play together as last time marches on. We'll never forget the lessons that the older we are one. UWI, we praise you, we lift our voice in song. We let our big drums go loud and step and play along. For you have shaped our lives so that we can truly say, to you we owe our gratitude, a debt we can't repay. There is a light that is rising from out of the west, and broad bearers of that light are we. So we follow those whose work has brought glory to your name, making a better world for you and for me. This is our University of the West Indies.
For the class of 2025, please remain standing as we prepare to capture a class photograph. Everyone else, please sit. You have officially entered your UWI graduate era, and to commemorate this milestone, we invite you to take up your canisters as we prepare for a unique and symbolic gesture. To our friends and families in the stands, we invite you to get your cameras ready, as this will be a moment to remember. As we come to 3, we ask you to raise your canisters high, turn to your families in the stand, and wave to them with all the excitement and pride that you feel in this moment. One, And with that, we conclude your graduation ceremony. Congratulations to the class of 2025 once again. This brings to a close the public ceremony by which the University of the West Indies has signalized the award of degrees and diplomas to its graduates. The company will now disperse. Please allow me to escort any specially invited guests and allowing the procession to leave. Thank you. Have a good evening.